Hey, soldiers, the immigration crisis is at epic proportions. This thing is becoming, quite frankly, a humanitarian crisis right here in the United States of America. New York's freaking out about it. Texas is about to put the military on standby. And El Paso, down there in Texas, they're saying, hey, as this cold snap is coming around the corner here, we might be in trouble if we've got a lot of people who are not able to be sheltered. This is getting out of hand. Now, there is a reason why the Republicans don't fight immigration that hard, okay? The Democrats, they seem to be all for it, but they try to put on this altruistic, benevolent kind of, stance with regard to why they want immigration. Both parties want it for the exact same reason. Neither is telling you what that reason is, but we are going to. Let's start off with New York City. Now, remember, when it was, when the border was thousands of miles away from New York, they talked a lot of smack about how they were so humanitarian, egalitarian, how they were so much better than anybody else who wanted, a stricter enforcement on the immigration policy. Now you got the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams. He says, we are in urgent need for help. New York mayor starts freaking out over impending wave of illegal migrants. Now he is getting to see what type of stresses a lot of people who do not have infrastructure, personal infrastructure, jobs, places to stay, family network, place to get something to eat. He's starting to see how this actually affects a municipality. It was okay when it was happening to the border states, but now all of a sudden it's a great big deal. New York City Mayor Eric Adams on Sunday warned that the city should brace for more than 1,000 new immigrants arriving every week, which will coincide with cuts in critical city services as a key Biden administration policy on immigration is set to expire. Adams added that state and federal governments have mostly ignored pleas from the city to fund the influx of asylum seekers who are in desperate need of help. You remember when the migrants were dropped off in Martha's Vineyard? Now, Martha's Vineyard, this is the type of place where the people have the little sign out front, little campaign signs that says, we love everybody. We believe in science, diversity, all of this, right? Well, that went out the window. They had those migrants out of there before sundown. Okay. We can't house them. We don't know what you're going to do. We're going to get, they was totally unapologetic about it. But at the cocktail parties, at the Chardonnay sipping soirees, they will go on and on about how benevolent they are and how they believe that, these poor people should be allowed to come into the country just as long as they don't come into Martha's Vineyard, okay, or any Vail, Colorado, or, Beverly Hills, California, any places like that, okay? All right, so Adams is saying that he's being ignored. Oh, well, join the club, buddy. Our shelter system is full, and we are nearly out of money, staff, and space, said Adams, adding, this can't continue. Think about how cruel the federal government's policies are to these people, and let's get real. These people, many of them are coming up here to try to start a better life, okay? Now, there are some criminals in the mix. A lot of these countries love putting their criminals on a bus or a boat and exporting them the hell out of the country. Okay, Castro knew all about that. Several of the South American countries are saying, hey, look, if the United States is stupid enough to bring all these people in, then fine. They can have some of the criminals too. There's that aspect of it. The United States, further, their policy is further very cruel because in many cases, the trek up here to the United States of America for women and young girls is arduous to say the least. Okay. It is downright inhumane. So we've just basically broadcasted to certain parts of Central and South America that, hey, look, the doors are open. Just if you can get here, come on up. Streets are paved with gold. And then when they get here, they find that that's not the case at all. Again, they have no infrastructure. So and this is wintertime, okay, in America. And you're finding people in situations where the number one priority is getting them, some type of shelter, food. These people are walking around with all of their earthly possessions in their hands. Okay. Adams' speech comes as the city's primary shelter system, which stood at 61,379 on Thursday. That's how many occupants it had. Was set to break the 2019 record of 61,415. As at least 9 migrant buses arrived on Friday. And some might say, well, what about these border states who are shipping these people? Well, didn't the blue states say that they were in favor of immigration? And they keep saying it. So if they are, then, hey, put your money where your mouth is. The Biden administration has been using the Title 42 border policy, a controversial tool former President Donald Trump used to keep asylum seekers in Mexico. Since mid-October, they've been using that to stem the flow of asylum seekers who streamed into the city seeking refuge. But that policy is set to run out on Wednesday. So Eric Adams, this city got a brand. New York City has a brand. Oh, God, man, that's how that guy sounds. Have you heard him say that? Okay, so let your brand be that you welcome people with open arms, even though liberals love to crow about, well, on the Statue of Liberty, it says, bring me your That's a statue. That's not codified law. Okay. It's not in the Constitution. It's on a statue. I saw the words "Pop Goes the Weasel" on a statue at King's Dominion Amusement Park. What does that mean? It doesn't, should we take it any further than that? Absolutely not. So we have been told in no uncertain terms that we should expect an influx of buses coming from the border and that more than 1,000 additional asylum seekers will arrive in New York City every week, said Adams, adding, "We are in urgent need for help." I think he meant of help. Adams cautioned that New Yorkers could pay a steep price. Pay a steep price? There's no price too high, Eric Adams. Isn't that what you were saying when this issue was confined to the border states? He says, truth be told, if corrective measures are not taken soon, we may very well be forced to cut or curtail programs New Yorkers rely on, said the mayor, adding that New York's ability to handle new arrivals is in question. Well, so what? The voters of New York put you in there, so they're obviously happy with what you're doing. So go ahead and cut services to them if you have to. They'll understand. Anybody from New York sold your finance on the channel? Put some comments in the comment section. Let us know how you feel. Did you vote for Eric Adams? These are not choices we want to make, but they may become necessary. I refuse to be forced to choose new arrivals over current New Yorkers. But isn't that just what you said you were about to do? You just said that you were about to cut services to New Yorkers, that New Yorkers could pay a steep price. This guy doesn't even remember what he said from second to second. All right. So anyway, as we are about to see more asylum seekers, and I don't like that term, asylum seekers, because are there any issues going on in these home countries that are like big time human rights issues, that people are fleeing political violence? I don't think so. So I'm not going to call these individuals asylum seekers. I'm going to call them migrants, immigrants, what have you. They're not asylum seekers, okay? In preparation for the expiration of Title 42 next week, the Texas Military Department announced on December 16th that it would be mobilizing members of the Texas National Guard to combat the impending surge of illegal immigrants at the border. These actions are part of a larger strategy to use every available tool to fight back against the record-breaking level of illegal immigration and transnational criminal activity, the department advised in a statement. All right, so Texas is girding its loins. Of course, there are going to be legal challenges. In May, the Biden administration was blocked from ending Title 42 removals by a nationwide injunction issued by the U.S. District Judge Robert Summerhays, an appointee of Donald Trump. That case has not been set for argument. Got all kinds of legal wranglings going on. According to a Department of Homeland Security report from earlier this year, the Biden administration estimates that there may be up to 18,000 border crossings a day after Title 42 is lifted. So that means, is South America and Central America, are they going to have any people left by July? And recent events have done little to alleviate the concern that all of these people may be coming over. Now, this is putting stresses on American municipalities and states. You heard Eric Adams come out and say that he may have to curtail services to New York City, tax-paying New York City citizens, okay? Because he's going to be diverting money to the care of the people that are, coming over the border outside of the legal process. Now, look, I want you to do a thought experiment. Don't really do this, okay? Please don't do this. Think about what would happen to you if you strolled into Mexico illegally. It's not going to be pretty, okay? You are obviously on the internet. You can look it up. They're going to arrest you, all right? You're going to be put in a Mexican prison, and adjudication is going to occur, and eventually you're going to be booted, deported from the country. Now, why is the United States government, liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican, why are they allowing this at the national level to occur? Well, we're going to talk about that in a second, but let's focus now on El Paso. Why El Paso? Because there's some winter weather coming, and El Paso has declared a state of emergency after they've had a mass invasion of migrants. Democrat Mayor of El Paso, Oscar Leeser, has been refusing to declare a state of emergency in El Paso for weeks as illegal migrant caravans flood into the city across the southern border. But it would seem that he has finally seen the light. Leeser's announcement comes at the same time as a declaration of emergency from the Denver mayor, Democrat Michael Hancock, who now admits that the city cannot continue to support migrants transported there from El Paso. El Paso has run out of funding to accommodate the 2,400 plus people entering the city every day from Mexico and is asking for outside assistance to deal with the influx of asylum seekers. While the Biden administration continues to ignore or even obscure the crisis on the southern border, leaked videos of enormous migrant groups lining up for entry at El Paso's gates are becoming routine. They're circulating, debunking the claim that the White House is taking action. They're not. Come on, Biden's not taking action on anything. Guys, look, we've been over it a million times. And look, the reality is the guy is out to lunch. He's way past his prime. It is 7:47 as I tape this on December 19th. Biden's probably been in the bed for an hour now. Okay. We are rudderless in this country right now. Valerie Jarrett and the other lady, they're running the country. Susan Rice. They are the shadow presidents of the United States right now. And what the Democrats believe is that these individuals coming over are going to be automatic Democrat voters. That's the one thing that they believe. Okay. Now, the Hispanic voting bloc seems to be a whole lot more judicious with their vote than the black voting bloc does. we as a voting bloc, black people, we're extremely loyal to the Democrat Party. Why? I have no idea. Because if you look at the performance, it just doesn't match up. But anyway, the Democrats believe that they're going to have an automatic voting bloc. I wouldn't be so sure if I were them, because a lot of these people are fleeing the same types of policies that destroyed the economic environment in their country. All right. That's number one. Number two is the Republicans. They want cheap labor. America's birth rates have been falling. And what immigration is for Democrats, for Republicans, not just here in America, but for, the parties in other countries, it is an importation of consumers and labor. All right. Because the Western democracies they got a birth rate issue. Some of the Asian countries do as well. Japan, to be specific. Now, the United States birth rate has fallen by 20% since 2007. Now, we can argue about why that is. The United States of America is doing a bang-up job of, attacking anything related to traditional family and family values, okay? There is a move to lessen the value of life in terms of several policies, including criminal justice. And you know what? As people age, they spend less. They also work less. And because of entitlement programs like Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, you need people to pay into those in order to support the aging population. And the United States has already come out and said that Social Security is going to be insolvent by the mid-2030s. So what we're doing here is importing consumers, we're importing labor, we're importing taxpayers, people that are going to fund these entitlement programs, people that are going to continue to pay taxes that will allow the United States to continue its profligate spending ways. So that is why we're not seeing any real action on immigration from either party, because there is money to be made at the end of the day. Check the American Chamber of Commerce. It's a collection of businesses. They're pro-immigration because they want cheap labor. And let me say something to close this out. Listen, the other part of this that's insidious and people don't really talk about that often is the fact that this importation of labor oftentimes seeks to create a permanent underclass. All right. Nobody really talks about that a lot. These powers that be want cheap labor. That's what they're after. And they want it in perpetuity. And don't get it twisted. Don't think for 1 minute that the left doesn't want to relegate a lot of these people to grievance status, to the status of the perpetually aggrieved, in that they want them on welfare. Okay? Because you can always come around every 2 to 4 years and say, hey, we're going to stick it to the evil business people because they're keeping you down and they want to take away your programs. And you can continue to use that type of rhetoric. This is the type of planning that is behind our laxed immigration policy. And look, for the record, we allow a lot of people into this country legally each and every year. There is a legal process. I hate when people try to construe this as America does not have an immigration process. We do. And thousands, tens of thousands of people come through that process and they are made citizens every year. Okay, so people are acting like we don't have a process. We do. But that process is being ignored right now. All right, guys, look. Google/YouTube is telling me that this video is the one that you need to watch. How they know, I don't know. But they want you to watch this video next. So go ahead, check it out. And guys, I'll talk to you soon.